So for part two, now that we've got this thing all pulled apart, there's not much magic here. It's just some elbow grease. We got to clean this thing up. I started with a straight brush, wire brush on the angle grinder to try to take as little material off as possible, just the rust and scale and dust and dirt. Trying to leave as much of the original iron on there as possible and get all the little nooks and crannies out, and some of the stuff like down into the vise, I'll have to get with a screwdriver and a hand wire brush. But just a bunch of cleaning here. I did wind up switching over to a heavier wire brush there with a more aggressive angle grinder. That one's a fuel. The first one was just a regular M18, so I think spins a little harder for that larger wire brush, but it really got the job done and cleaned this thing up. And it was just elbow grease, and once this thing is all cleaned up, I did the same thing that I had done with the handle, which you may have seen in the previous video when I rebuilt the handle for the vise, but I used a graphite spray on this after it was all cleaned up, which kind of coats it and simultaneously makes sure that everything slides nicely, which is what you want. Keeps the rust from building, but allows everything to slide. All these heavy metal parts that are in contact with each other, the smoother they move, the better it is for them. And after you coat it, you give it a wipe down after it's dry, and the whole thing moves around pretty smoothly, which is exactly what you're looking for with this type of thing. You can really get a feel for the size of that vise sitting next to the Wilton C1 there, which is a pretty good size vise. I think that's about a 100-pound vise that it's. That is the second phase complete of this vise. It has been cleaned up, and the jaws move quite smoothly now. It's got a nice new handle on it that's way better than the old one that we had before. A couple of little rubber pieces there, probably not big enough, but. And there's our Parker 600. Stay tuned for part 3, which is going to be building a base for this thing. And that's where this is going to come in, along with that and some other pieces of steel.